right?
So I'm
Or
not
just
going to show any of the footage because one, I don't want to show the girl's face, and two, I don't think we need to see the footage.
No,
frankly.
definitely not.
I think I can just talk about it. If you want to see it, it's out there. You know what I mean? So, you know, I poured over this footage. I watched all of it because I really wanted to know what was happening. The allegation. Okay, well, see, here's what happened, and then I'll tell you about the allegation. So, Fousey is in the airport, and there's a girl at the airport at the bar. She's drinking. It looked to me like a stiff drink, like some kind of Long Island thing, because she seemed like drunk. She seemed like drunk when he sits down next to her. And they start hitting it off. They're connecting. You know, everything's fine. Everything's cool. The first thing that I was like, hey, he says to the bartender, hey, get her another drink on me. He doesn't ask her. And she's already like pretty drunk. So straight off the bat, I was like, eh. But I don't think that would have been I don't think that would have been a problem without the allegation that comes afterwards. But I mean, I guess it does matter in context of the whole thing. So they're sitting there. Then they start to get super flirty. They start touching each other. They're even kissing and hugging and stuff. He's got his hand on her thigh. She starts telling him that she has a tattoo of another man's name above her genitals because she was sex trafficked. She said she was a lot lizard. I had never heard that before. Apparently, that's like a prostitute that works at truck stops, which seems quite seedy and disgusting. No offense to truck drivers, but probably the ones soliciting sex at the truck stop, not like the most up and up dudes. So she starts being really vulnerable with him and saying, I was sex trafficked. I escaped from it. She has kids. She's traveling to go see her 2 kids that are living with her dad because she can't take care of them. And she's working a minimum wage job, $11 an hour. She's like dead broke. She showed him, she's like, I have like $100 for this whole weekend with my kids. It was very sad, honestly. I really felt for her and the situation she's been through. And so then after that, Fousey's like, yo, I'm going to give you money right now. And he gave her $300, which was great. And then he's like, chat, if you guys want to donate, here's her Cash App. And then the chat ended up donating like $2,500. It was great. She was crying. It was feel good. I was happy for her, genuinely. Because like she's the type of person where that money is very meaningful for her and her you know, her kids. It was very nice. After that though, I guess I don't know. They started bonding. Like Fousey was like, "Well, I'm used to be a sex addict, and you know, so I understand where you're coming from and all that." And there's a certain point soon after that, with the money and the flirting and the kissing, where he says, "Hey, come with me away from the camera. I want to talk to you." And then they walk off like, I don't know, 20 feet away from the camera, but the camera's still on them. You can't hear them, but you can see them. And they're embracing each other. They're very close. They might be making out. Honestly, I watched this part very closely. It was hard to tell. It's possible that they weren't kissing. It's possible they were. It was hard to tell. But that doesn't really matter with what happens next. Because I feel like, again, if it would have just ended at the right time, it would have been a great story. And everyone would have been super happy for this girl. So they come back from embracing each other, potentially making out. They come back to the camera, and he tells the stream, hey, I'm going to go get her stuff from the convenience store and stuff. We're going to go walk around. And so he turns the camera around to the bartender, and it's on the bartender for, I don't remember the exact, 10, 20 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
An extended period of time. And then, well, the problem starts when he comes back, or I guess the problem really starts when he's coming back. I think there's there's enough moral questions about making up with a girl that drunk, that fast, and all that. But he comes back and he goes, "Yo, guys, I can't hide it, man. We just had sex in the bathroom." He's like, "Yo, guys, I swear on my life, we just had sex in the bathroom." And it seems that he's being completely genuine. He said, "Yeah, I joined the Mile High Club," which he's on the ground.
Was he in Denver?
Maybe. Well, she came back and she was like playing along. She's like, "Oh yeah, well, we kind of did, it's on they were joking around." And then he goes, I guess he starts looking at chat and he realizes that people are like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And then immediately he goes, "I'm kidding. You guys got pranked. You guys got pranked. You guys." And to me, watching that, I see a dude who's humiliated, ashamed, embarrassed, and just got caught and realizes how bad he fucked up. And so he sits there for another 10 minutes talking about how bad he feels. And like, he can't get over it. He's like, "I'm such a scumbag for doing this prank on you." He's like, "I'm such a scumbag for doing a prank on you." And it doesn't make sense to have that immense amount of guilt over a silly prank. So anyway, she basically, when they come back, I feel like he's super standoffish. She was really kind of, into the moment. I don't know how to describe it. But eventually he was like, "Yo, you need to catch your flight. You're going to miss it." And she left. And he continued to talk about how bad he felt about the prank. So the optics of this, of course, is that he continued to get this girl drunk, who was already drunk. When he found out she was a former prostitute, gave her a bunch of money. And I have to say, a girl like this, and I don't know them personally, but I've watched a lot of interviews and documentaries about how it affects these people. And I think when you're in prostitution or sex trafficking like that for so long, forced prostitution, I should say. I think she was like, she was being, human trafficked by a pimp, if I had to guess. Is that when these people come out of this really traumatic experience, they expect that men want sex from them, that they have to give men sex in order to, keep their attention, to keep their interest. I feel that this is really a powerful force that these women people learn when they're in this really traumatic situations like the ones that she was in. And so it appeared that now that he gave her money, she's going to, he just got her $2,500. So she, it's very possible, felt like she owes him now. And that's how she repays people. That's in her mind, right? That's the association. So they walk off, they go to the bathroom and have sex in the men's bathroom, is what Fousey said, and then retracted. So it's really bad in terms of what happened. Now, Fousey denies that anything happened. He maintains, even to me, that he tells me that it was just a prank. And obviously nobody believes that. And I told him that. I said, "Dude, nobody's going to believe that. Nobody's going to believe that it was just a prank." And frankly, I'm having a hard time believing that. I went back and I watched the part that for me that was really compelling is when he comes back and he's talking to the camera and he says, "Yo, we had sex." And then he's like, no, just kidding. It's like, I feel like, in my opinion, it seems to me that he did do that. That was, it's hard to interpret it any other way. And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, I do. But I don't think I can. So I guess this was blowing up while he was on the flight. And it started brewing into a huge, huge thing. Obviously, it was super, super, super fucked up. how that went down. And so my first thought and concern is that I know we have lots of conversations about his mental health and being manic and potentially at times during lows being suicidal. By the way, I see our the podcast got dislike bombed by XQC fans.
Let's go.
1.9 thousand down, dude. Love you,
Wow,
kids.
Thanks for the views.
Oh, dude, he did the worm on you. This was blowing. Dude, that's 2.5 thousand down. Let's go, kids. So my initial thought was just like, some of you might disagree, okay? Like, I was concerned for his well-being because I know, and I've seen it before, how a situation like this can have a toll on his mind. And I just wanted to make sure that he's not, I just want to make sure he's okay, right? That he's not going to try to hurt himself. I really, genuinely, that was my first concern. So he actually called me. I talked to him when he was on the plane. And he was like stressing out, freaking out about it, obviously. And my advice to him, which has always been, I said, dude, first of all, you have to stop the stream. You can't do it anymore. You have to stop it. You have to turn it off. And the next thing that you need to do when you get there, when you're in a comfortable place, is just, or maybe, I don't know, take some time to digest what's happening, but you need to come out and make a sincere and completely honest statement about what happened and what you're doing about it. And I told him, dude, you need to, when you get there, you need to see a therapist, like immediately. Like, I want you talking to somebody. And he and to his credit, he was doing that. So my first priority in this whole situation was just to make sure that he's going to go see a therapist, that he's not, you know what I mean? That he's going to not slip into like a total manic frenzy. I've seen people go, I had an ex-girlfriend, when she went manic, she would like end out in a grassy field naked thinking aliens were abducting her. Like, you get that divorce from reality during manic episodes. At least with her. That was my girlfriend was bipolar. So that was my experience with her. So that was basically, yeah, I mean, that was basically my conversations with him. I was just like, dude, you got to slow down, go see a therapist, make sure that, like, look after your mind, and then you need to come back and talk honestly about what happened. And I'm not really sure what else to say about it. I mean, I saw the statement when he landed. And again, in the statement, he maintains that nothing happened, that it was just a prank. But like, I again, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? I do. But I frankly don't believe him. I don't believe him. And I told him that. I said, I don't believe you, and nobody's going to believe you. Like, don't even try that excuse. So, I don't know. He didn't take my, I guess he didn't take my advice in that situation, but who knows? I mean, he maintains nothing happened. I don't know. In my opinion.
Has he stayed offline since all this went down?
He's banned.
So he came home, he did a stream talking about it. Right. Which was kind of not the best, because I think he just fell short by not being super honest and open about what happened. But he talked to the people, and then he said, I'm ending the stream to go get help and take some time. So that is good. And then I guess yesterday he got banned on Twitch. He got banned on Twitch. And I did find out for 7 days. And it was nothing related to this, interestingly. I guess he said the F slur earlier that day. Or no, it was right after the drama started. People were giving him shit, and he was blocking them. And I saw that clip. He's like, I would call you an F word, but I don't use that word anymore. He said the word though. And so he got banned for a week for that. And that's bad enough, obviously. Well, one thing I told him honestly was, I think you need to really consider if this kind of life is right for you. Because it only took like a month for it to go off the rails. And everybody, your family, and you were telling yourself to be cool, don't fuck it up. And it only took a month for this to go completely sideways bad. And so I'm like, dude, I don't know if this is the right
cut
life
out
for
for
you.
this biz.
You know, I don't know that this is your path to happiness. I don't think that it's good for you. And you need to go and meditate and think about you need to really think about if this is something that you should continue pursuing. You know, he was ready to accept his life as like you know, he was talking about on the podcast, he was ready to drive an Uber. And I just think that like he has some inclinations in his mind. Whatever it is, if it's bipolar or mania, whatever it is, that the attention he gets it sends him off the rails. So I encourage him to strongly think about kind of not coming back or deciding. I'm not saying not coming back because I do think he should, and I think he will come and talk about it more about what happened, but to potentially consider that this is not the right profession for him. You know what I mean? It just may not be. It just doesn't seem to be good for you or anybody, right? And it's a hard pill to swallow.